Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypher Box, and just kind of want to talk a bit about this whole Anthony Joshua versus, Deontay Wilder. A lot of things have been said in the last couple of days. AJ's done an interview with Sky Sports toe to toe with Johnny Nelson, and I have to admit, a bit of a tasty looking bird. Don't know what her name is. And not only that, Deontay Wilder has responded to that. AJ said a lot in this interview. Kind of want to go through it clip by clip. All I put up is the actual part about Deontay Wilder on my Instagram page. If you're not following me already, then hit the link in my description video. And I'm going to go through clip by clip and kind of give my breakdown of what AJ's saying, and then talk about Wilder and give my opinion on the whole situation, really. So here we go, let's play the first one.
Daniel Taylor, if AJ wins, who would you pick next? Wilder at Wembley?
They want me to fight Mike Tyson, Wilder, Mike Tyson again, Wilder again, Tyson Fury, put him in under the knife, chop him up a bit, get him back to fighting weight, back to Wilder. But you know what, right? This little devil on my shoulder, the fighting man, says Wilder at Wembley, boom. And then this devil on my shoulder, the manager hat, says, what's best to guide my career? So it's playing devil's advocate, putting them together and seeing what works out best for my career. Do you know what I mean?
But so, Wilder at Wembley?
It depends. I think if it's pushed that way, it has to happen. And I just think, I'm going to do things my way, innit? If Wilder works, we're going to make it happen. If Wilder isn't the right opponent for next year, then we'll put it back on into 2019. But I'm just going to do things my way.
He says he's going to put it back to 2019 if it doesn't work for next year.
Daniel Taylor, if AJ...
Sorry. So, if it doesn't work, it's going back to 2019. The devil's on his shoulder. The one on the right says, boom, let's do it now. The manager hat, the one wearing the manager hat says, do what's best for your career. Alright, let's see what else AJ has to say.
People just can't rush my career. That's one thing I've learned, is that I've got a career, I need to map it out. I'm going to take fights at the right time for me. And if it's next year or the year after or the year after, when I fight him, I'll be in a position to beat.
I find it.
So, you just said, well, whether it's next year, the year after, or the year after, meaning 2020. Like, you know what? If you're a world champion and you're holding world title belts, as far as I'm concerned, you should be fighting other world champions and looking to unify and become undisputed champion in whatever weight you are in. Yeah, I don't want to hear all this nonsense about, oh no, but AJ, I don't want to hear. I know there's going to be AJ fanboys and Deontay Wilder fanboys jumping on this video, leaving comments. But I don't really care what your opinions are. I didn't start this channel because I want to back favourite fighters, etc. Because I don't have favourite fighters. Yeah, I told you, I'm a neutral boxing fan. I love the sport. Yeah, I've gone way past all this. This is my fighter and I'm going to back him no matter. I don't do any of that. What he has said there, we're at the end of 2017, so that we're looking at 2020 for that fight. I mean, are you serious? I'm shocked to hear AJ actually say that, because what you're telling me then, you're going to do things that are right for your career. So that means you're telling me you're going to time your fights and pick when they happen. Now, there's another fighter out there who got a lot of criticism over his career for doing that. His name's Floyd Money Mayweather. A lot of people criticised him for when he picked his fights, picked his opponents, and when he fought them. And a lot of those people who give Floyd Mayweather that kind of criticism, are probably fans of Anthony Joshua as well. Not that they're going to admit it, but they are. Yet, people are going to give Anthony Joshua now a pass for this. Like I told you, I don't care. On fight night, I will support a British fighter 100%. I will back him up 100%. I'll be rooting for him 100% because I want to see him win. Of course I do. But when it comes to the build-up and you talk things like this, I told you I'm going to keep it real. And, this is a warning. If you don't like what I say and what I'm saying in my videos, don't click. A lot of these channels out there are going to be looking, they're itching to get views and get fighters to, you know, support their channels and stuff like that. I'm not one of them. I'm not going to kiss someone's ass just so I can get an interview with them one day or something like that. I'm not going to be one of those channels. You know, I'm not going to kiss any fighter's ass. I'm going to tell it straight, tell it how it is. And like I said, keep it real with you. And I don't agree with what AJ's saying right there. As far as I'm concerned, the fight against Wilder needs to happen next year. But he said a few more things, so let's see what else he had to say.
It's funny when you say, even though you're world champion, people don't rush. I don't want people to rush my career like you're still learning. I'm thinking you're the top of the tree.
It's mad. It's mad.
So that hunger as champion makes you even more dangerous.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm not looking at it now like the champ, and now I've got 5 more fights left in me and then I'm out of the game. Do you know what I mean? And then like, I'm coming to the end of my career. You know when you're trying to get your hand on the title again, like you have 5 fights, you lose it, then you're at the end of the career, you're getting them last 5 fights in. I started boxing in 2008. Wilder turned pro 2009. So he's been a pro 1 year longer than my whole career. So you can see why they're rushing him for certain reasons. And you know where people just...
Now, I want to touch a little bit on Deontay Wilder's age. The guy's 32. If you wait 2 years, he's 34. Yeah, telling you now, people are not going to give AJ credit and respect for beating him 3 or 4 years down the line, or whatever, 2 or 3 years down the line. Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, you're both world champions. This is the fight we want to see. I want to see it. You know, I don't care what excuses fanboys are making out there for either fighter, Wilder or Anthony Joshua. I don't care. I want to see this fight. You know, when the heavyweight division, you know, opened up after Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko, you got excited. You were like, yes, this, you know, these boys are going to start picking up these belts, and then we're going to see these guys start fighting each other to become undisputed champion at heavyweight. Few years down the line, we haven't come any closer to that, and we're still hearing comments like this from like the likes of AJ. You know, you don't need this fight to marinate. You know, in my opinion, if you made the fight 2018 next year, 2018 August, September, that's 8-9 months, except more than that actually. You know, 10 months, whatever, to, you know, allow the fight to marinate, to allow it to build up. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You know, when you've got a hype man in the fight as well, and what I mean by a hype man, you've got Deontay Wilder, who's got a mouth on him. We know he's got a mouth on him. He likes to trash talk. He likes to do all these videos on Instagram and Twitter and stuff on social media. You've got a really good promoter as well. You know, I'm sure Al Heyman and Lou DiBella would have no problem with Eddie Hearn promoting the fight and pushing the fight and making it happen, which he will, because obviously, you know, you can imagine this fight potentially happening here in Wembley at London, 90,000. You know, but if it happens in the States, still you can easily put Eddie in charge and say, look, you promote the fight, because you know what, he's going to do a better job on it. I think he's definitely probably the best in the world for promoting fights. So I don't see where the issue for anyone out there who's going to try and say the fight needs to marinate. No, it doesn't. It's already getting a promotion right now. It's getting the promotion right now with him talking, you know, Deontay Wilder's talking trash. You know, AJ's, you know, he's obviously talking in this interview, but he's also made some statements in the Sky Sports interview as well on their website, which I'll go through in a bit with you in a second after these videos. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, I don't want to be waiting to 2020 for this fight. I'm tired of this in boxing. I'm tired of it. Oh, let him marinate. We need to let the fight marinate. No, you don't. That's just an excuse to prolong the fight. That's the way I look at it.
You can see why I'm taking my time for certain reasons. So the fights are there, but as I said, I'm going to do it in my own time when I feel ready.
Because the pace that you started at, it did seem like you kind of...
The fights are there, so I'm going to do them in my pace and when I'm ready at. So basically what you're saying is I'm going to time my fights. I'm going to handpick when I'm going to have these fights. Is basically what you're saying. And you can all slag me off all I care, but that's what you just said.
Did it quite quickly. You've got to where you've got now quite quickly. So is that pace something that you're happy with? Are you starting to feel like you want to kind of slow it down now, enjoy it a little bit more?
I'm happy with the pace, definitely, because we wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And we wouldn't be talking about these fights. But it's being realistic about where I'm at and understanding that this is a career as well. Because who knows? Who knows? Do you know what I mean? I could take that fight next year and it might not have been the right time. I may have needed another 2 months. You know, as I said, the fighter on my shoulder says, let's rock.
So he's saying, you know, he could take that fight, but then it might have not been the right time. I might have needed another 2 months, 3 months, a year, etc., etc. As far as I'm concerned, no. You're a champion. You're holding a world title belt. Yeah? If you don't feel like you've got what it takes to beat another world champion, or you're not ready to fight that world champion, relinquish the belts and let someone else have a go.
Rock and roll. The coach on my shoulder said, you know what, Josh? You know, you need to just work on a few more things before you take a fight like that, because when it's all said and done,
you need to work on a few more things before you take a fight like that. So quite clearly, he sees Deontay Wilder as a real danger, despite what all the Wilder haters out there are going to say. Remember, I'm not some Wilder fanboy. I've criticised Deontay Wilder as well for not taking fights against Dillian Whyte. I think he's avoiding Dillian Whyte. So I have criticised Deontay Wilder in my last couple of videos as well. But he's saying here, I might not be ready for that fight.
all that matters is that win. All that matters is that win, not the...
It's not about all, and this is what I'm saying, all that matters is that win. All that matters is that win. Well, no, it's in the manner you win as well. It's not about just getting the W and putting it on your record. It's about how you won it. When did you win it? At what point did you fight that boxer? These are all things we all criticise other fighters for. Yeah? Some of you guys out there, and I ain't going to talk about all the AJ fans out there, will probably sit there with their mates and say, oh yeah, that guy didn't fight so-and-so then, and you know, he fought him when he was too old, etc. But now it's about AJ. I'm going to say this about AJ. People are going to defend it. People are going to defend it because they're fanboys. That's what they do. That's why I hate fanboyism in boxing. But I'm sorry, you know, I don't agree with what AJ just said there. You know, it's just about the W. No, it's not just about the W. It's not just about the win. It's about when you won. How you went about winning. When did the fight take place? Okay? Because Wilder might be alright right now, but in 2 years from now, this is boxing, in 2 years from now, he may not be at the same physical peak that he is right now. He might start showing a decline. And if he does, Anthony Joshua's not going to get any credit from me, even though I think Anthony Joshua beats him. Even right here, right now, I still think if they got into the ring tomorrow, AJ will beat him. So, but I want him to beat the best possible Deontay Wilder.
The fact people say, oh, he didn't fight him here, you can see why I'm taking my time for certain reasons. So
let's watch the next video now.
Well, he didn't fight him there. The manager, my coach, will determine when I fight Wilder.
So even he's touched on it, that saying that people are going to say, oh, I didn't fight him here, I didn't fight him there. So you already know in your head what people are going to say. Because you yourself, as an individual, the reason you've said that is, one, you want to kind of cover that up so people can't use that as an excuse or make comments like that. That's why he said that. But two, in your head, you know, if you feel, well, as a boxer, as a champion himself, he knows actually it is important when I fight someone. But but he's hiding behind I'm still gonna use my, I'm gonna listen to my coach and my coach knows best. You know, but your coach didn't seem to have a problem when you jumped in the ring with Vladimir Klitschko. Neither did your promoter. Hell, your promoter, Eddie Hearn, is saying that you'll knock out Deontay Wilder in 3 rounds.
Me on this hand says there's no problem, we'll fight whenever, but I listened to what my coach said and said, this isn't about, you know, putting on a good show for the promoters and anyone. This is about your career, your health, and the decisions you make will kind of pave your future in the sport of boxing. So you have to be smart about each decision you make.
I could play devil's advocate and say if David Haye managed to get through Tony Bellew, would he be in the mix? If you manage to get through Tony.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's so many fights out there. Yeah, they're all in the mix. They're all in the mix for sure. So that's what I mean is that there's options. It's not like I'm stuck with one fight or one
You're
option.
the one that everybody wants to fight.
Yeah, this is what
You're
I'm saying.
You're a pension.
I don't know.
Okay, so your options are Joseph Parker, David Haye if he beats Tony Bellew. And who else? Joseph Parker? Tyson Fury's out of the picture. Who else in the heavyweight division? Maybe a rematch against Dillian White? Okay, rematch against Dillian White. So you got a few options there. But one of them is a maybe, because we don't know if Haye's going to beat Bellew. And if Haye loses, that's one option gone out the window. You've got Joseph Parker, who I think he beats hands down anyway, because I think Joseph Parker is living on borrowed time right now as the WBO champion. You know, Dillian White, that's a fight that will probably sell. Again, of course, we know that here in the UK. And the Deontay Wilder fight. So you may have options, but you don't have an abundance of options like you think.
I think that they're going to come in and just cash in, or I just think the people really want to fight me, or do they just say they want to fight me? Or you didn't fight him there.
Well, he's saying to people, are people saying that they really want to fight me, or are they saying or do they really want to fight me? Well, my answer to that is call their bluff. If you think, and he's going to be referring to Deontay Wilder because he's calling him out. If you think Wilder's, not for real about wanting to fight you, then your job is to call his bluff. So, alright, Eddie, make that fight for next year. Start negotiations. And if Wilder causes all sort of problems, or his team cause issues, or they can't agree on negotiations, or Wilder makes some excuse as to, well, that fight's not happening, I'm pulling out, then you can turn around and say, well, you don't really want to fight me. You could probably say that. Providing that the negotiations are reasonable and fair. And if he still doesn't accept the fight, then, do you know what I mean? Then you can make that comment. Does he really want to fight me? You don't know at the moment, because at the moment all you're talking about is I may wait as long as 2020 to make that fight. Not only that, by that time, AJ could lose. Wilder could lose. Look at Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, and I'm going to do another video on that today. Look at that video. Look at that example. They've talked smack to each other for years now, and every time we got close to making that fight, it was a big fight at one point. But both of those guys, Amir Khan's lost to Canelo. His career needs reviving. So does Kell Brook, since he's lost to Errol Spence. His career needs rejuvenating, because he's got to come back from that loss. Now, he doesn't know whether he's at 147, he's going to be at 154, etc. and stuff like that. But my point is that fight doesn't have as much appeal to it as it did before. People will still tune in to watch it. People will still pay to watch it here in the UK. But who's talking about Amir Khan in the welterweight division anymore? Who's talking about Kell Brook? I saw a podcast the other day, and they were talking about Keith Thurman coming back in January, and they were talking about possible names. Kell Brook wasn't mentioned, Amir Khan wasn't mentioned, or fights later on down the line as well. Again, Kell Brook wasn't mentioned, Amir Khan wasn't mentioned. So that means at this moment in time, they are irrelevant in boxing, and that fight will only be big in the UK. That's it. It probably won't sell as much out anywhere else. I mean, I don't even know how big it is here in the UK, but my point is that their stock has devalued, so the appeal of the fight has devalued. If that happens with these two are both, they're young fighters in their prime, so let's get it on. There's no excuse. AJ just fought Vladimir Klitschko, so you should be feeling like you could beat anyone. Yeah, you got to make improvements. Every fighter needs to make improvements. Deontay Wilder needs to make improvements. That's no reason to turn around and say, no, I'm going to wait a few years and hand pick when I'm going to fight Deontay Wilder.
I think there's a difference of fighting to say I can beat him, or there's a difference of saying I fought in my tribe, but even though I fell short, I still walked out a winner. Yeah. There's the two differences, and I'm very aware of that. That's why I don't buy into the hype of people saying they want to fight me. I think, what's the real reason you want to fight me?
The sweet scientist has tweeted,
Scientist.
if you could have Freddie Roach, Manny Stewart or Angelo Dundee in your corner, who would you pick and why?
Manny Stewart. Reason is, Freddie Roach is good, but I've seen him work with lighter weight fighters, and he took on like James Toney, he worked with Tyson, but towards the later end of their career. So I think I haven't seen Roach work with a heavyweight kind of in the prime of his career, but I've seen him work with lighter weights. Dundee, Ali seemed to have kind of trained himself to a certain degree. That fluidity, there's certain fighters that are so unorthodox that you have to let them be. I think there's a difference of fighting.
Alright, I thought there was more in that last clip, but there wasn't. So that's my point of view in terms of what Anthony Joshua is saying. I'm quite disappointed in AJ. I didn't expect that from him at all. Whether he's just playing mind games, you know, psychological warfare, getting inside Deontay Wilder's head to try and wind him up, I don't know. I hope it is the case, and he's just playing games, head games with Wilder. But if he's not, then you've heard my opinion. As far as I'm concerned, the fight needs to happen next year. Not the year after, not the year after that. You're a champion for a reason. Be a champion. And defend your belts. Period. Alright, let's move on to... And the same goes for Deontay Wilder. You know, he's a champion. Defend your belt. You know, put your belt up on the line. You know, I'm not overly impressed that he's got to fight Bermane Stiverne. I've said that already. But, alright, it's his mandatory challenger, so he's got to get him out of the way at some point in order to make these future fights. But if the fight with... I've said this before, if the fight with AJ definitely doesn't happen, he should consider fighting Dillian White. You know, you got a massive payday there. Why not? I've said this before, there's no reason why that fight can't happen. Alright, let's see what Deontay Wilder had to say in response to this interview by Anthony Joshua.
I just want to know one question. I hope somebody got the answer for me. I just want to know what the hell is going on in the heavyweight division. What is going on? I just woke up to multiples of articles where Josh was stating that he's just not mentally, physically, emotionally ready for me. That it may.
And you have to admit that's what he basically turned around and said. I don't know about mentally or physically, but maybe from a skill point of view, or you know, from his boxing and ring intelligence, you know, he feels he's lacking something. You know, that's the way I took it as well.
It may take up to 2020 till he can build up the courage to really fight me. Basically talking about getting me old, and don't you know this black don't crack? I ain't getting old no time soon. Trust me. Is these guys that scared? I keep telling y'all guys over and over again, I'm the most feared. Again, I repeat, I am the most feared heavyweight in the division. None of these champions, the best, don't want their O to go. They don't want to lose their record. And then Hearns talking about he'll knock me out in 3. Just make the motherfucking fight then. Why you scared? It's either two things. Either y'all scared or y'all doping too. Which one is it?
Okay, so he's made some good points there. I'm not talking about the doping or the PEDs. Sorry, I don't accuse fighters unless they're, you know, I leave that to the anti-doping agencies to, you know, catch out and catch cheats in boxing. It's not my job to do that. So I'm not going to make comments on that. I don't agree with him saying that. He needs to be careful with that as well, because if there's no truth to it, he's gonna, do you know what I mean? You're gonna put yourself in a position where you're gonna have a lawsuit from AJ or something like that. Anyway, kind of like how Pacquiao did with Mayweather. Anyway, moving on. But you've seen Wilder's response there. You know, if you think you can knock me out in 3, which is what your promoter said, do it. Let's do it. What are we waiting for? You know, he's questioning, you know, AJ's courage, etc. and stuff like that. And as you expect, he's going to trash talk. To me, with AJ, with this interview of his, it sounds like, one, you're timing your fight, and you are timing your fight for when it suits you. That's exactly what he said. Whichever way you want to phrase it, that's basically what he said. And you're also at the same time, you're trying to see if you can maximise, I suppose, the profits of the fight as well. So you're trying to gain the advantage by let it wait a little years, maybe Wilder slows down and that makes it a little bit easier for me. I time my fight. Not only that, you also think you're gonna maximize your profits for the fight as well. I think you still make loads of money now. Look, Klitschko and AJ, that fight wasn't marinated or anything like that. It had the worst build-up ever. It's one of the most boringest build-ups I've ever seen. This fight will have an action-packed build-up to it. But the Klitschko, I remember watching Sky Sports Gloves off. I nearly fell asleep. They both bored me to death in that whole, when they're sitting across the table from each other. This fight, and both those guys. My point is, both those guys still walked away. I think with 20 million each. AJ walked away with 20 million at least. Vladimir Klitschko might have walked away a little bit more, but AJ walked away with 20 million. So if you get this character in there with you, imagine how much more you're going to sell the fight. You're probably going to make double that. You could potentially make double that. So if it's a matter of money, sorry, the money's there. If you promote it right, you've got the best promoter in the world on your side. In Eddie Hearn, you've got a gobby American. You've got a cocky, gobshite American. Who trash talks trash talks all day long on social media. He's happy to trash talk and entertain. AJ's no stranger to doing a bit of trash talking himself. We've seen when him and Dillian White, etc. There's little subtle things that he does and he says to get under his opponent's skin, especially when he has a distaste for that individual. So AJ's got that in him as well. He can hype that fight himself along with it. What's the issue? You've got enough time. If you schedule this for 12 months from now, 10 or 12 months from now, August, September, plenty of time for the fight to marinate. Enough time to do behind the ropes, Sky Sports, Showtime, All Access, if AJ decides to stay with Showtime. There's not an issue here, in my opinion. That's the way I see it. So I personally think this is a fight that needs to happen. And, I'm not accepting all this from AJ, this whole, you guys you can accept it as much as you want, but don't expect me to buy into all of this. I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. There's a reason why I started this channel, because I'm going to give honest opinions and talk the truth. I'm not going to be like these other channels, start kissing people's fighters' asses because they can't be bothered to, they don't want to get in a ring for invalid reasons. That's the way I look at it. Anyway, let's look at this now, because Deontay Wilder, obviously, now the things he said here were also said, shout out to him on the Boxing Voice the other day. I tuned in because they had Deontay Wilder on their show where he was actually talking live himself, and then I found this article obviously of Sky Sports Boxing, and Deontay Wilder kind of talks a lot about what AJ has said, etc. and stuff like that. Now I'm just going to read through some of the quotes. So he's turned around and said, to be global, you've got to make your name in America, and Joshua is not as big as people think he is over here. That's what he told Sky Sports. The UK is about the size of Texas, one state in my country where people don't know who Joshua is for real. Now, he said the same thing on the Boxing Voice, so this is kind of like the similar thing he was saying there. If my name was brought up and Joshua came along, it's the same as if Joshua's name came up, my name would come along as well. And it's true. At the moment, he's not lying there, that is true. If you say Anthony Joshua, you think Deontay Wilder. If you say Deontay Wilder, you're thinking Anthony Joshua. It will be great. It will be a great fight, but he is not that popular over here. I had to burst a lot of people's bubble, but he's not. If he wants to be global, he needs to come to America to fight me. But to be honest, I don't care where it happens. He's gone on to say that even Eddie Hearn says his man will knock me out in 3. So why haven't you made the fight yet? If you are so confident, why are you stalling? Why do you stare at me when you're with your friends, look up and down, sizing me up because you're scared? Everybody is scared. I will unify the division, and it will be very soon. So those are words from Deontay Wilder in regards to AJ. Now AJ, got it on my tablet here. Just bear with me a second. Now AJ talked to Sky Sports as well today, and do you know what? I like Deontay Wilder. I like AJ in terms of from an entertainment value. I like them both. I've got no issues with either fighter. I really don't. But my issue is when you start playing these games of the fight will be ready in 2 years and stuff like that. No, that doesn't fly with me anymore. You know, I'm not gonna get continuously conned like we have done in the past with big fights. You know, wait, yeah, that game is up. If you're a real boxing fan, you'll understand what I'm on about. You will know that game's up, and if you're a real boxing fan, you will be frustrated and fed up with that whole excuse, let the fight marinate stuff. No, it doesn't work with me anymore. Alright, so he starts off by saying, AJ, in this article, we've got David Feathers. Hey, he means that's David Hay, and Deontay Wilder. And he says that I had to do it. So, and then he goes on to say, I had to quote that bit because I thought that was quite funny. And he goes on to say, all these guys talk about me all the time, and it's negative, always negative. But sooner or later, I'll be ramming my jab down their throat. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When it comes to the likes of David Hay and Deontay Wilder, because there has been no era of boxing where heavyweights, middleweights, welterweights haven't come together. We have to fight each other, and that's just the way it's going to go. And that's what Anthony Joshua had to say today. So, again, you're saying a matter of when. When is this fight going to happen? You know, when? And for me, this is a fight that needs to happen next year. You know, just end of the day, this is a fight that I want to see, and it needs to happen. I'm tired of all these sort of things that keep coming up. It needs to marinate. The timing's not right. Blah blah blah. Basically, what you said is, you know, you've just said in the interview in one go is that I'm gonna hand pick and choose when I want to fight Deontay Wilder, when it's best suits me, when I've got the advantage over Deontay Wilder, I'll pick him to fight him. It's basically what you've said to me. You know, there's enough time between now and next year, if you do it to the back end of next year, mid next year, to allow this fight to marinate, to allow it to build, allow the promotion to build. You've got two young names who are going to give each other, you know, and I think AJ will trash talk a little bit as well. Deontay Wilder's got a massive mouth on him. You've got Eddie Hearn, the best promoter in the world, who knows how to hype and promote a fight. What's the issue? As far as I'm concerned, it's all just excuses, etc. and stuff like that. And I'm going to call it how I'm going to call it. That's how I see it. I know AJ fans aren't going to like what I'm saying, just like Deontay Wilder fans haven't enjoyed what I've said about Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte. That whole fight and that situation. But I don't care. I'm going to call things as I see them. I'm tired of this in boxing. I'm tired of this whole marinating thing. For crying out loud, you guys have been champions for long enough now. How much more do you want to make us wait? You know, we're talking about maximising profitability. This fight will make money if it's promoted right, which it will be promoted right. One thing I don't agree with is Deontay Wilder in terms of what he said that AJ has to fight in America. He doesn't have to fight in America. Alright? I get what he's trying to say, that he's not as popular as people think and that he needs to build his name here in America. Well, if this fight happens, it doesn't matter where you have this fight. You can have this fight in the freaking moon for crying out loud. You can have it on the moon. And people are still going to tune in worldwide to watch this fight. People in America, people in the UK, people all over the world are going to tune in to watch this fight. And if this fight happens at Wembley Stadium in front of 90,000, which I hope it does because I live in London, then it's still, AJ will still make his name. So he doesn't need to fight in America necessarily. You know, Deontay Wilder's travelled over here once to fight Audley Harrison, so that was when you were coming out. Doesn't count. But you're going to make more money over here. I think you would. Do you know what I mean? This fight, it doesn't matter where you do it on the planet, this fight's going to be massive everywhere. And once it's done, and AJ will his name will be known. If you don't know him in America, you will after this fight. Doesn't matter where it takes place. You know, and yeah, a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, you're talking like AJ's going to win. Of course, I think AJ's going to win. That's how I see it. I think AJ's the better boxer, fundamentally. I've said it already. And I think he wins this fight. Personally, I think it's just all BS, politics. Frustrating to see, I know. But as far as I'm concerned, you know, waiting for this fight till 2020 is just a joke. This fight needs to happen next year. You know, this heavyweight division opened up when Vladimir Klitschko was beaten by Tyson Fury. We all got excited. They started picking up the belts, and since then we've seen nothing. They've just been circling around each other, dancing around each other, but no one's really to meet each other in the middle of the dance floor. And that's what we want to see. Tired of it. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cyphbox reminding you to keep it real.